Hey Dad Squad, I am Gideon Newell, and welcome to the Run with My Son show, where we are dads who refuse to let the headwinds of life push us off that path of having a lifelong heart-to-heart relationship with our sons. And we use fitness to get there through guided, deliberate conversations with our sons as we're out and about being fit and running together. And the title of today's episode is Facing the Childhood Obesity Epidemic. And I'm going to lead off with some disturbing facts that you've read, I've read about the condition that our country is in regards to childhood obesity, and but leave you with some hope and inspiration for what we can do to face that crisis, that epidemic. So let me also welcome you to my backyard where I'm filming from today. It seemed like a nice day, and though there is a little rain in the forecast, it seems like it's a good hour or so off. So I thought I'd get some sunlight here. We just finished up some t-ball. The boys are now off for the summer, as I'm guessing yours will be shortly if they aren't already. Anyway, jumping right in, childhood obesity. Now, 15 years ago, what we now today call type 2 diabetes had a different name. 15 years ago it was called adult onset diabetes. And that's because it was expected that only adults would develop this form of particular disease. Sadly, that's not really necessarily true anymore. The prevalence of it has spread so much that they had to change the name of the disease to fit the circumstances. It's now called type 2 diabetes because it's not strictly seen in adults anymore in our country. In fact, this was the 2007 Surgeon General's report. So 10 years ago, this data is already, quite a bit outdated. But at least 10 years ago, we knew that 7 out of 10 adults and 3 out of 10 children were considered overweight or obese, which is unbelievable. We've never had that in the history of our nation, in the history of our record keeping. And that trend has only progressed through the 10 years since. I should have looked up some more recent report for you, but that's the one that I came across. Pretty shocking stuff. And it's due to a lot of things. There's a lot of forces that are contributing to this. One of which is the reduced availability of PE, physical education, gym classes in our schools. What used to be a 2-3 times a week activity is now 1 time a week, or even less frequent in many schools. Same thing with municipal parks and recreation programs and services. Those are finding themselves on the decline in these days of tighter budgets. And of course, in our economy, we're finding that a lot of households, both parents are needing to be in the workplace. More households than ever are single-parent households, and so parents are unavailable to provide, to step in a lot of ways for that lack of opportunity for kids to get outside and play. So there's quite a few forces. Even in those circumstances where parents are available, we don't even necessarily have the right neighborhoods anymore. It used to be the case you could send the kids outside when they came home from school. Send them outside, have them go play until dinner time. Ring the bell, yell their names, they come running back in for dinner. But these days, not only is that impossible with the different homework and other activities that our kids are in, the scramble of getting home from work and getting dinner cooked, sometimes it's not even safe to do that anymore. We can't leave our children unattended, and I think you understand that. Perhaps as they're older, there becomes some window for that. But quite a few forces working against us, and my personal pet peeve is the rise of electronic distractions. And I am an avid indoorsman, and I always have been. It's been a lifelong struggle for me. I sit at a computer through my day. It's my job, and I've always been a fan of video games, and television has been on the decline in my life for a while, but in my childhood, I certainly watched my share. And so, I was always hesitant to go outside. I wasn't necessarily, much of an athlete. And that is truer and truer with today's generations. Our kids are getting less full body exercise and getting quite a bit of thumb exercise. You know, we want their full bodies to be fit, not just their controller hands. You know, screen time is something that you as a dad have some say in, don't you? You can actually put some limitations and boundaries around when that is. You can dictate, you can encourage, you can cajole, you can use lots of tools to make screen time a reward. Use it as positive reinforcement instead of something that is an expected unalienable right. It is a privilege in our household that our sons, our boys earn. And even then, it's only on certain days. We have certain designated iPad days, we have certain designated TV time days, and certain days that are set aside for video games. But we don't let them have their run of the electronics 7 days a week. And you know, sadly, lots of households do. It has taken the place of so many other better, more beneficial activities for our kids. So if this is stuff that's sounding familiar, if these are struggles that you are sharing with me, Dad Squad, by all means hit the share button. Send this video along to your circle of friends and the people that you know, because you know what, more people listening is going to help more of us, and sharing is caring. We want to take care of not just our own sons, but those of all of our friends too. So hit the like button, hit that heart button, and by all means hit the share button, because we want other dads on board here too. Just some more information for you. I thought I'd share that heart disease remains and is still the #1 killer of Americans. And most overweight children, it is shown, will grow up to be overweight adults. Now that cycle isn't necessarily true. It can be broken, and we're going to talk about that. But it statistically remains that most children who are overweight as children continue on that path as adults. So what we want to do is we want to break out of these cycles. We want to break these bad habits now and build our good habits now. And we do that through the concept of teaching our sons about banking. And just as you would with your hard-earned dollars, you put them away in the bank for a rainy day. You put them away in the bank so that it can gain interest and grow. We want to do the same thing with our fitness. We want to encourage our sons by putting a little bit of effort and a little bit of exercise into today. They will gain a benefit from that tomorrow. That's going to help them live a healthier life, a happier, more just connected life, and it's going to help them live a longer life, especially if they can build these habits. And when are we most plastic? When are we most trainable and it's simplest for us to build habits? In our youth, in our childhood. It only becomes more difficult as those years and days and weeks march forward. So summertime is right here at our doorstep as I'm recording this. If you're watching it post live, then maybe it's the dead of winter for you. But right now we are on the doorstep of summer, and this is the perfect opportunity to get out there and shake off some of those old indoor habits and build a few outdoor habits, some more positive physical education that's going to be dad directed. We can't hope for the schools to take care of our kids during the summer, so we're going to do the job. And to that means, let me point you again to our website, runwithmyson.com, where you can get a free Couch to 5K training plan for kids. Very unique in that this is specifically for kids ages 4, 5, 6, 7 and on up. It will help you no matter what your fitness level. It will give you the breakdown day by day of what kind of time, what kind of mileage, what kind of exertion and effort can get you from zero running experience all the way to running a 5K road race, 3 miles. And you're going to do it together. How amazing, dads, is that going to be when you and your son run in a road race together? And it's a program that takes 9 weeks or fewer. And so that's absolutely free. You can get that at runwithmyson.com. I think if you're watching us here on Facebook, there's also a link someplace on the page that will get you there too. But, you know, heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans. And you know what? Being overweight is not the only risk factor, right? There's other things that contribute to heart disease, and some of those risk factors, things like being a smoker, things like not having a great diet, or getting enough sleep, or getting enough exercise, can contribute to additional diseases besides, you know, risk of stroke, risk of type 2 diabetes, which is what we led the show with here today, talking about that. Even certain cancers and osteoarthritis. You know what? All of this stuff stems in part from a lack of physical exertion and a routine, a habit of being fit. When I was a child, I walked back and forth to school half a mile for 3 years. It took me a half a mile to get to my elementary school in the mornings, took me a half a mile to come back. I was walking a mile a day as a 3rd, 4th, and 5th grader. Then for my middle school years, they bust me. But then in high school, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I was back within that municipally dictated radius where I was no longer eligible for the bus. So once again, I walked to high school. In fact, I actually rode my bicycle, and that was over a mile and a half. I don't have the exact mileage. I think it was 1.4 miles. I used to ride my bicycle every day. And my classmates, many of them had their own cars, and I got a lot of grief for it, but I also got appreciation for fitness. When you're riding a bicycle 3 miles a day minimum, you've built a routine, haven't you, Dad Squad? And in the fall, I also joined my cross-country team at my high school. It was actually a pretty intimidating thought on day one. It wasn't my idea. I got a letter the summer previous from my middle school gym teacher. She sent a letter to my parents out of the blue, unexpected, suggesting, hey, we think your son might be a great fit for the cross-country program based on just how he's performed in gym class and his running. And this blew me away, because I was not an athlete whatsoever throughout middle school. I didn't think I had any talent there, but this really put a vision not only in my head, but my parents also, and we all got excited about it. So I showed up on day one. I think it was before high school began. I think it was the orientation week was when the cross-country program began. And I remember that first day we ran a mile. And that was that was probably the longest mile I've ever run. And I am not ashamed to admit there was a little bit of vomit at the end of it. Because I had not yet built that habit that I just mentioned a moment ago of daily bicycle riding. You know, I'd been out of shape for those middle school years, out of fitness. And Coach Andy McGovern, he turned us around. You know, I just want to put some inspiration in your hearts that no matter where you're coming from, you can pick this up, and so can your son, Dad Squad. So, you know, get out there. You know, jump on board something. Parents, you know, can find ways to bring fitness into the family life. We can go on family walks together. What a great idea that is, to go to the park. The little ones can be playing on the playground while the older ones are walking around the soccer field. You know, if you've got a neighborhood, if you're fortunate enough to be in a neighborhood that has sidewalks, you guys can go on walks all over the place whenever weather permits. And these are simple things that don't cost anything, and they don't take, you know, too much of our time either. That's time that we can build into our days and our routines, you know, and make it a very highly anticipated time. It's special, family time, when we have great conversations, and perhaps some of those walks even end with a stop at the ice cream truck. Who knows? But we want to build good habits. We want to break bad habits, sedentary, you know, screen time ones. Let's see. Here's another strange statistic. Strange? Maybe not the right word. Maybe shocking is a better one. And it's also a bit old. It said in 2006, 20 to 40 hours a week on average, children were spending watching television. That's nearly as much time as you're spending at work. Or perhaps, you know, more for those of you who are part-time folks. 20 to 40 hours in front of a television. And the AAP recommends that we should be doing no more than 2 hours per day. So that totals 14. The average is well past that, 20 to 40 hours a week watching television. The AAP, I should point out, it's the American Academy of Pediatrics. So these are doctors who know our children, inside and out, and they think they should be getting, only 2 hours of television at most per day. Dad Squad, we've got to lead by example. How much television are you getting in your day? Maybe yours is prime time after the kids are asleep and in bed, but they can hear that, through the walls. They know from your conversations when you're talking to friends about the latest program and this and that. They know what Dad's priorities are, and if it revolves around television, then guess what? Our sons are likely also going to become television watchers. Another place you can lead by example, dads, and that is in smoking. Now, I don't know whether you're a smoker or not, but it's well-established fact that even if our children don't follow us into this bad habit, simply being in our company while we smoke is horrible for their health. It's a horrible example, but it's also, where their secondhand smoke exposure is bad for their health. We've got to lead by example, and that might mean taking some difficult steps, finding some help, and finding a way to break that habit. And we all sympathize. We've got different habits. Perhaps yours isn't smoking, but you've overcome something, Dad Squad, and I want us to be a support to one another. Here on our Facebook page, we can share with one another our stories, our struggles, and our victories. But we need to lead by example. We need to show our sons what it means to be physically fit and to be routine, to make habits of it. It's not enough to just go to the gym once every few months. It's not enough to go for a family outing just on the holidays, the Memorial Day holiday, maybe 4th of July, and then not again for the remaining 12 months out of the year. We've got to show our sons that fitness is something that we do routinely, every day if it's possible. Half an hour of aerobic, get your heart pumping exercise every day is what we really ought to be doing. And I recognize that might not be a practicality for all of us, but we can show our sons what it means to build a habit by at least trying, at least getting a few of those days per week. And what better way than forming a habit together with our sons, going on a run together. Again, grab that free training plan at runwithmyson.com and build that habit together. When you can't be an example, you can't join your son for whatever reason, perhaps you've got a disability. I want to be sensitive and aware of that too. Not all of us can be out there running at all, let alone, multiple times per week, and I recognize that. We can still lead by example by being not a leader in what we do, but a cheerleader in motivating our sons. You can be your son's biggest fan. You can show positive reinforcement and get excited about his attempts to do something, to get fit, and to cheer him on. Wow, I'm so proud of you. You worked hard. That was a difficult exertion. I know that it was tough for you. I can tell from watching that you had a tough time, but I'm proud that you tried and that you finished through your practice today and you made the distance. You made the 20 minutes that you wanted to make. Let them know that it makes you proud to see them trying those things. We can be an example even by being a cheerleader when we can't be a leader. And a final thing that I do want to leave you with today, Dad Squad, call it my early Father's Day gift to you. Father's Day gift to myself. Maybe you noticed I got myself a little whistle here to help me in my coaching career here with my sons. But my Father's Day gift to you, I've added something to our website, runwithmyson.com. If you go to runwithmyson.com/quiz, I put a free quiz up there that you can take. Just take you like 3 or 4 minutes. Got 12 questions, and you can find out where your son fits on the national average as to how fit he is, how much exercise he's getting, how frequently he's getting a full night's sleep. A few of these questions will immediately give you a grade and give you a starting point so that you know if you're falling in the mid-range, above average, and below just to give yourself a snapshot, because no matter what the result that you get is, we're going to improve that. We're going to work hard together this summer to get everybody fit, and you're going to love looking back months from now at the results you got on this test today to see where you were and where you are. And you're going to look at that, and it's going to really motivate you to take it the further steps still. So check that out, runwithmyson.com/quiz, and take that free quiz, the healthy lifestyle quiz, and learn how you're doing. All right, well, thanks again for joining us. Please, by all means, share this video, give us a like, give us a heart, and in the comments, let us know what sort of things you want to hear, what your struggles are. Is it you finding it difficult just broaching the subject and encouraging your son and finding some place to start? Are you finding it awkwardly quiet and silent as you go off running? We understand that. We've heard that feedback. We want to answer these questions, but we need to hear what they are, what some of these are. So by all means, jump on there, give us some feedback, and please do share, please do like, because sharing is caring. All right, dads, go out there, make a difference. Don't let the headwinds of life push you off the path to having a lifelong heart-to-heart relationship with your son through fitness. All right, have a great week.